Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about tents. Right, first tent we're going to look at is the Lanshan 1 Pro Plus. I bought this tent from AliExpress. It arrived about 2 weeks after I ordered it, and it cost me, with the ground sheet and a 4-season inner, £172. Its fly sheet is a 15 denier sil nylon, and its hydrostatic rate is 5,000. The bathtub is a 20 denier sil nylon with a hydrostatic rate of 6,000. The dimensions, compared to the regular size is 210 long, wide by 75, and its height's 115. This one comes in at 230 long and 80 wide. And the height is still 115, so a wee bit extra room there for the people who are tall. And the great thing is it's 950 grams. We'll have a look inside now. Yeah, now you can see a wee bit better, a bit of light there. You see it's you've got an inner and an outer. You do require a walking pole for the Lanshan 1, and also for the Lanshan 2 tent. Wind's getting underneath it a little bit, yeah, but cracking little tent. Plenty of room to store your kit, and it's a single entry at the one side. Right, next thing we're going to look at is the Lanshan 2 Pro. If you've watched a previous video, you see when we got it, we seam sealed it and took it out on its like maiden voyage, if you can call it that. The weight of it is 915 grams. It's a 2-person's tent. The one we've got again is a 4 seasons, because we were planning to take it with us to the Southern Upland Way on November. We have decided against that, if you've watched the video, but just due to the condensation. Now, condensation in there it was horrendous. I know we did go out when it was a full moon. So this tent's slightly different. It comes on AliExpress. It tells you it is a double-sided silicone coated fabric that's there, and it's plus 2,500 on the hydrostatic rating. So I think that might have to do quite a bit with the condensation in there. It was like sleeping, I wouldn't know what it was like, but sleeping in a plastic bag. The actual bathtub itself, this is a strange one. The bathtub, it states it's 20 denier and it rolls in at a 13,000 hydrostatic rate. The inner, which is a 4 seasons inner, which we'll have a look at now, plenty, again you've got plenty of area in here to store equipment on both sides. Inside, again, plenty of room, 2 doors, but you don't have another inner keeping all the condensation that runs off of there onto you while you're sleeping, or if you knock the tent. Again, you've got the little nylon part here for letting air in. You don't get much ventilation. The actual inner itself is a 15 denier nylon. Yeah, I think a cracking tent if you're into the lightweight backpacking, and it will keep you dry. But obviously, again, whereas the condensation was the issue, but you could probably wipe that off with one of those little J-cloth things before you get up in the morning. But it's a bit too much for us when we're moving to fold it all up when it's been raining all night. So that won't be going with us. Right, so next tent we're going to look at is the MSR Elixir 1. This is my tent that I took on the Cape Wrath Trail. So when I decided that I wasn't taking the Lanshan 1, this is what I went for, was the MSR. Now, MSR, its weight is 2.16 kilograms, so it's quite a quite a hefty bit to carry about when you, especially if you're going long distances. However, if you see the videos in the Cape Wrath Trail, you'll see a couple of times when I was in high winds, and when I tested out the Lanshan 1, I lost it one evening on the Dorset coast with the wind, and this tent never budged. Never budged. And I went and I pitched up in an area where a chap came down, I think it was one of the Hillerberg solos, pitched up next to me, and then he got up through the night, it was too windy, packed up and moved, and I literally was still there in this little thing. Yeah, I do like it. Cracking bit of kit. Downside's the weight, but yeah, it's sturdy, and it's it keeps the rain and water out. So it's a 68 denier ripstop with a 1500 hydrostatic rating. So that's less than the Lanshan, the hydrostatic rating, but again it's 68 denier. It's I think the coating on it's a hydrostatic polyurethane, and it's the DWP, which is a durable water resistant. So when you pour water on it, it turns into little beads and goes off it, and sheds the water really quickly. So when you pick it up in the morning, you can literally unpeg it, it will stay together, give it a shake, and it all comes off. It's really good. You still get the bit of condensation on the inside. I mean, you're not going to avoid that, but because you've got an inner in there, it's absolutely fine. The inner itself is a 40 denier ripstop, and the bathtub is a 70 denier, I think it's a taffeta nylon that's in there, and the tent comes completely seam sealed. So have a look inside. Right, tons of area in here again for storing your equipment. And I never had an issue at all with the space that you get inside here. Plenty of vents here to let the air come through. I was lucky, only had about 3 days I think of bad rain, and I never got wet once. Again, you can drop the inner in these tents. Once you've had them for a little while, you can actually work out a system of getting it all done and drop it, fold it all away, and then it doesn't get wet when you put it in your bag. Cracking tent. Downside, just the weight. Yeah, so that's the MSR Elixir 1. Right, last tent we're going to look at is probably our favourite tent and most used tent. I think if I swing around this side here, we've had this tent for over 2 years and it's been used a lot. You can see the difference in colour between the Elixir 1 and the Elixir 2. Yeah, this tent's been everywhere up in Scotland. We went, I think last November was one of the worst times we went up, where it was absolutely pouring it down for a week, a whole week with this tent. We never got wet once, and the inner was bone dry, and the bathtub was bone dry as well, using a ground sheet that we got with it. So the tent itself, the dimensions, well sorry, not the dimensions, let's go for the weight first. Again, it's 2.7 kilograms, but as a two-man tent, split between two people, it's absolutely fine. You're only carrying a kilogram and a bit each. Its dimensions are 213 by 127, and its height, which is more importantly for me getting dressed and stuff like that, is over 1 metre. The fly, again, is a ripstop and it's 40 denier, and again the bathtub is a 70 taffeta with a 3000 hydrostatic rate. And the cost of this was, well, the cost of it, you can pick them up for about £210, but if you go for the green one here, they're usually a wee bit more expensive. You can pay up to £260. And I bought this, I think I paid £247 for it, and that was with the ground sheet. Let's have a wee look inside. So it's a dual entry tent where you can access it from both sides. Again, same as the one there, you've got tons of room to put your equipment and stuff. Tons of space inside, plenty of vents, plenty of little pockets to keep your stuff in, torches, etc. There's the other door there. Yeah, not had any issues with this tent. Yeah, so that's our little tent collection. Lightweight ones there, if we go back to them and use them. Probably will. I do like the little Lanshan one. It's a cracking little tent. I'm just not that confident at putting it up when there's high winds after losing it over a cliff. I got it back, yeah, but it was a bit of a scary moment. But that's why you test these things. Well, I believe you test these things. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos recently where people are having accidents with water getting into their backpacks, tents not being up to it. So yeah, it's a bit of an expensive thing buying something and testing it and not liking it. But that's what eBay's for. Right, so MSR Elixir 2. The newest version, not the newest version, I think there's a version 2. And then you've got the MSR Access. Now, personally, I looked at the Access. I didn't like it. It's got a single support that runs down here and then it splays out at the bottom. I watched a video of a guy named, I think it was Paul, and it was, I think it's either PA Adventures, I think it was called, his YouTube page. So I'll link that in the description below. You'll see what was happening in high winds. Now, being in these in high winds, they're solid, absolutely solid, but those accesses don't look good. They seem to bend in this area here and they go right down on, they were going right down onto Paul's head, which is not good. You can see the moisture in the back of the tent coming through, etc. So yeah, so for us, MSR Access 2 is our tent of choice, and it was so much a tent of choice that we picked up another one. So I'm just going to take 2 seconds here. So the 2 tents in the end there, obviously, they're from China. The customer service side of it, it's practically zero if you read all the reports. Get the 2 MSR tents here, and we use other MSR equipment, to be fair. We had the wind burner, which broke while I was on the Cape Raft Trail. That's been resolved, and not by the people I bought it from, funnily enough. So the people that got it off of Amazon just ignored my emails until eventually I asked for a refund. But between that, MSR actually replaced the burner head, sent it to my address. The Elixir 2, we were putting up in the Lake District, and the crossbar, the little end bit here, split open. Yeah, they replaced it, no questions asked, sent it out straight away. So customer service side, I can't really fault them. Can't really fault MSR. They've been really, really good. Really good at getting stuff to us and getting it replaced. So there's that peace of mind to look at. Your Lanshan goes, I think it's like the cheap and cheerful. It doesn't really matter. You just go and buy another one in certain people's eyes. But yeah, when they go, they go. And you don't have any recourse to the sellers over in AliExpress. I think you can now pick them up on Amazon under different sellers, but what I've noticed on the pages, it says one in stock. It always says one in stock, so I think they actually order them from China, and they're just vending them through there. Again, I wouldn't like to try and guess what sort of returns policy they'd have if something went wrong with the tent. But some of the prices of them, the Lanshan 2 there, was £599 on Amazon from sellers, which is absolutely ridiculous for the same tent. Right, I hope you enjoyed the little video. That's our 4 little tents that we use, and why we use them and when we use them. If you see how the old MSR makes it through the Southern Upland Way, then tune in a couple of weeks' time, because we'll be starting that, I think, at the end of this month. So again, 210 miles and 12 days we're going to do it, and not 14. We're going to try and do it in 12 because we'd like a wee bit of a holiday. Yeah, and you'll see how it performs after we give it a bit of waterproofing. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up with you again. Cheers. So in line with anything that goes on YouTube, these views on the tents and our experiences are entirely our own. Obviously we've watched a few videos that people have experienced with some of the tents, and I've read lots of the reviews, because you always read reviews before you purchase something, and it's few and far between, but generally the comments we're going to make here are just our experiences and our feelings on the equipment.